Cash is a worker, and he's had a great spring, great summer. In fact, sometimes you have to slow him down, whether it be through training or film study. But he's done a good job of preparing himself. He's a guy that really for 2.5 years he's been here and worked to the point where he's ready for that role.
Do you think having Courtney on the staff will help that? And how will he specifically help you?
I don't think there's any doubt. First of all, Courtney, he's a worker and he modeled it. So him and Cash have a great relationship. And the one thing that Courtney can do is he's kind of been there through the ups and downs. So he gives him kind of a voice to hear that's a little different than a coach. Certainly feel very fortunate that Courtney chose to come on and be a graduate assistant with us.
Could you break it down when you talk about slowing Cash down? Could you break it down a little bit?
I think he's a guy that you got to be careful he doesn't overtrain because he's such a hard worker, and he's a guy that wants to be great and believes that it comes through hard work, which is it's a great trait to have, but at times you got to say, whoa.
If you guys are without Haskell for any amount of time, what is that?
Well, the great thing, I think more than any other year since I've been here coming in, we feel like we have defensive line depth. Josh, he's gonna miss some time in training camp, but he's gonna be able to get some mental reps. But it's at a point up front where they've had a great summer, a great spring, and we got some depth there. So it'll be by committee, but you got T.J. Carter, who's played a lot of football, Kelvin Taylor, who's played a lot of football, and those guys have really developed this offseason. You look at T.J. Carter, when you guys come out to media day and see him, you're going to see a guy that's really worked hard on his body this offseason.
Bohanna got a lot of reps last year as a freshman at nose. How many ideally? What's the ideal depth for a defensive line?
Well, you always got to have at least a 2 deep, and you'd like 2 + 1 with the rotation. That position you got to play fresh. It's not like playing linebacker or DB because your face is in the fan every play. And we feel like we've developed that type of depth where we can play, 7, 8 guys and not have a big drop-off.
There's a lot of experience depth in the secondary. Have the expectations been raised for those guys?
Yeah, and I think what Coach Stoops said earlier is dead on, spot on. With the development and recruitment and depth that you've got there, it's forced competition. And, there's some intrinsic, hey, we want to be the best that we can possibly be. I can assure you this, Mike Edwards didn't come back to coast into the year. Okay, he came back for a purpose, just like Coach hit on. And so I think there's an intrinsic, hey, I want to be the best. I want to get better. I came back for a reason.
It's the most we've ever heard your voice without it being gone this early. But how excited are you to get into those actual practices and start getting out there and yelling at guys?
I don't know about yelling at guys, but I'm excited to get working with guys. Yeah. I think all of us as a staff are really, really excited. One of the things that, this time of year, Coach hit on it, when you come into this kickoff luncheon, it kind of triggers it when you come off vacation, when you come in and watch our guys work out. And I think there's a heightened sense of urgency with this football team, which makes you have a positive anxiousness and have a chomping at the bit to get out and work.
What do you think Josh Allen's going to kind of deal with the expectations that are on him this season?
I think he's just like Mike. When he decided to come back, he came back for a purpose. And, the conversation we've had with Josh, you can't let the outside noise, that doesn't determine how you play. You play to a personal standard, okay? And there's going to be, just like anybody, there's going to be games you play better than others, all right? But you can't ride the wave. And I think Josh understands that.
Mark said that he saw a different man whenever Josh decided to come back. How has he been different just off the field in the last year?
I think he's a prime example of when you coming back with a purpose. He's gained strength and weight. You're going to notice that when you see him out at media day. He's bigger. He's noticeably bigger, especially in his lower body. He's done a great job of working with Coach White to increase his mental capacity, to play a little smarter. I think he's done up to this point what you'd expect of somebody coming back. Now, all that does is give him a chance to have a great season, right? Training camp and game week preparation is going to determine a lot of that.
There's a lot of discussion about Phil Hoskins and sort of his rise during the spring. What have you seen from him, and is he one of those guys that's going to help you on the line immediately?
There's no doubt. I think Phil is a guy that can be very disruptive. He's a quick twitch player, and he's a guy where the more reps he gets, the better he's become, right? I mean, you got to remember now, Phil, not only did he transfer in, but he had missed a year of football because of injury. So he's a guy that I think's improved and has a high ceiling to improve even more in training camp.
You talked about that guys coming back with purpose and you mentioned a sense of urgency. How much does that purpose that they bring back, to the program, does that affect other guys on you?
Yeah, I think that can be infectious. And Coach kind of hit on it when he was up here about just, hey, the increased leadership of the football team. And the more that stuff's modeled, then it becomes the expectation of your younger kids. Just the way that we've watched them work this summer when they've been with Coach Ed, I've seen a higher sense of urgency, and that's exciting.